Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be working this 2009 Honda Odyssey. You might see it in another video, but as of now I just want to make a quick tutorial or walkthrough of how to replace these rollers. This is going to be the second set that I've replaced, not on this van, just on one of these Honda Odysseys themselves. It was a 2006, and I believe this is very common from 05 to even present. And these are the rollers. Sorry, it's a mess, don't look. But what ends up happening is these rollers right here, they're like nylon or plastic or whatever they are. They end up just wearing out and breaking. So what ends up happening is the door just, this slides back and forth. What ends up happening just throughout time, this ends up wearing out, and then this just has a lot of play, and the door itself ends up getting snagged. I could probably show you on this door real quick before I start tearing into it what it does, but you see that? Just turn on the flashlight. But you have all that play. It's not normal, and you could probably see in here it's completely missing those rollers that I'm talking about. I mean, this vehicle's 11 years old, so it's only a matter of time before something like that happens. But to remove it, very simple. As I mentioned, this is the second set that I've done. First, you want to get something to prop your door with. I just have a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, jack stand, and a rag on the jack stand just so it doesn't damage the bottom. You're gonna go here, you're gonna remove these two 12s, and right before you start loosening up the second one, just hold the bottom of it. Door might seem like it's a little heavy, but it comes off really quick. After you do that, you can go ahead and pull these cables off. If yours are broken, or if it's I think like an LX or a different model, you don't have to worry about it too much. They should just come right off. Alright, I'm gonna be cheating a little bit. I do have a cordless ratchet, but if you have a regular ratchet or a wrench, you should be able to get in here. Alright, so now that this is loose, and I do have this supported down here, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just see if I can pull this back, which I can. Now, you should be able to just pry up and over and get this out of the way. Alright, so hopefully this is a good position for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. I am going to use some needle nose pliers, hopefully not break that cable. It's very expensive if you have to replace that motor assembly or the cables themselves. I think the cables are $100, and the motor assembly can run up to $500 from Honda. All I'm doing is just grabbing the end, twisting it over. One off, and it should make it a lot easier to get the other one out. So I don't know if you guys saw what I did, is I just put leverage on it with the pliers on this side, and just be able to pull on it. So I can focus it a little bit more. You can see those notches where it wants to come out. I just put some leverage on it, pulled. Well, as you can see, here's the old roller. It does have this bracket that we have to pull off, but just for comparison purposes, I have the wrong one. But even with this one, you can tell, just looking at them, you see these rollers I'm talking about that are missing. They're missing on this one. This one you can tell they've been missing for a while, especially because this ever focuses. You can tell that it is damaged right here, as well as on this side. As I mentioned, you do have to pull this part off, this bracket itself. You do have to pull this bracket off, and it's very simple. You just have to pull this C-clip off right here, so you can tell right there. And the C-clip comes off, and then you just hit it with the hammer. I usually just put a little socket down here that'll fit this to be able to push it out of the way. So for the one that I have, a 13 mil fits over it just fine. You only need enough to be able to get off these splines that are in here. You'll see as soon as I pull it off what I'm talking about. But 13 mil for this side, and I'm gonna pull this C-clip off. Here it is. And for that, I just use a little Harbor Freight tool pick. Just make sure you catch this. It will go out flying, and you're gonna have a hard time trying to figure out where it went. So I mentioned, I just lay this over. If I could get it right, I'll lay it over. Just give it a few whacks, and it should come out. Just like that. See, it's already off the splines. I should be able to just pull this out all the way. You can tell this one's been getting a little bit corroded, stuff like that. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this, put a little bit of anti-seize on here, that way it doesn't fail in the future. But you pull this off. The new one does come with a spring, and I'll put it together right here in real time, that way you guys can see. And there it is. It's probably as best as I'm gonna clean it. A little bit of anti-seize. I'll just grab a little bit. I don't need much. Don't get this on yourself, because it is a headache to pull off. So I'll grab a little bit. I'll just leave it like that. So now to put it together, you're just gonna hold the brackets the way that you had it. I mean, you saw how they were like this earlier. So what I'll do is I'll just hold it in that position, slide this through. Taps, and same thing again. I'll grab the same 13 millimeter socket I had earlier, put it over the hole, and just give it some wax. Just like that. It is seated all the way. I'll wipe off this excess anti-seize. As I mentioned, you don't want to get the stuff on your clothes itself, because it is a headache for it to come off. It just smears everywhere. As you can tell, it's already smearing all over this. For the last step, I'll just put the C-clip back on. And just from experience, the best thing to do is just grab yourself some pliers and just grab one end and push it in. I don't know if you guys were able to catch that. I just, see if I can zoom in. I bite and put one end of the pliers on the piece that I'm going to bite on or grab, and then just grab the other end and just push it down. And just like that, this one's actually ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll go prop you guys back up on the side and show you guys how easy it is for them to go back on. These luckily have a bigger provision here for the cables, so it makes it a lot easier for them to go back on. I'm going to go back on with it. As I mentioned earlier, because of the provisions that are here, or the way that it's cut, it's a lot wider here, so it makes it a lot easier for these cables to go back on. Just like that. And what you're gonna do is just slide under and pretty much on. You just gotta slide it back over that way and hook it up to the door. All right, so hopefully this shows exactly how I'm gonna hook it back up. It's going to be a little bit more tricky. If you have help, it's fairly easy, but you have to lift up the door and then put the bolts on. Makes it a little bit difficult because the door can start getting heavy. Slide this back. Hopefully you guys caught that. 12 mils here. As I mentioned, it's a little bit tricky, but it is doable by yourself as long as you have the door prop. The closer you have it to the position that it needs to go on, the better it is. I checked the operation. It obviously works pretty good. This piece, there is a trim piece here that I did not talk about. I kind of pulled that ahead of time a few days ago. We are doing some other stuff on the van because we knew we had to do the rollers, but that itself is very easy. You do have to pull this rear headlight out. It is two, I believe, 8mm bolts. Pulls out that way. You unplug the wires for the bulbs, and then here you don't have to worry about anything from here to here. There is only a screw right here on this end, a Phillips head screw. I believe it looks like that, and then the track just slides and pulls out. And to get to that bolt, it's just from here. So hopefully that helps somebody out. I know there are other videos how to pull the track apart and also how to do these sliders, but hopefully my video helps somebody out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns or whatever, just either shoot me a comment and I'll try to help you out as best as I can. Thanks for watching.